So thank you for coming along this morning. I'd like to make an announcement this morning. Before I do that, I want to make a comment that I think what we need at the moment on Dubbo Regional Council is experience, integrity and leadership. And so from the outside looking in over the last few years, I think that what I would like to do is come along and provide that experience, integrity and leadership to Council. So I'm here to announce this morning that I'm going to stand for the Dubbo Regional Council elections in the Central Ward, and in my belief, that experience that I've had previously as Mayor and certainly a long time on Council, that integrity that I've displayed over my entire life, and those leadership skills that I've shown both on Council and in business and in life will be able to come to the fore. Certainly if I go back and look at my time, for example on Council, we had a very cohesive Council. We had a Council that was going very well in terms of where it was headed. We had a high approval rating in the community with a 70% councillor approval rating. A lot of initiatives were started during my time as Mayor, not just because I came up with some of those initiatives, but because we had a cohesive Council. We had a General Manager, we had staff that were all singing from the same songbook. And what I would like to do is get back to that point where we're doing that. We've had an amalgamation, and with that amalgamation, more than ever before, we need strong leadership, because whether you like the amalgamation or not, we've got it. We've got to live with it, so we've got to move forward with that. And getting the two communities, Wellington and Dubbo, to come together as one community is absolutely integral to the success of Dubbo and to the success of this region. So I want to put all my skills, all my experience, the integrity that I've displayed before on the line, and as I said, stand for the Central Ward and ask the voters of Dubbo or the voters of Central Ward to elect me to the position and then go in and use my skills to help move this council forward. That's enough of an announcement from me. I'm happy to take whatever questions people might have.
You've been quite adamant in the past, in the lead up to the elections when it was going to be 2020, that you wouldn't run again. You've touched on it, but why the change of heart?
It is a year later. Emily, thanks for the question. I was asked at the beginning of last year whether I would stand, and certainly I had a break from council. I'd been on council for 12 years, Mayor for 5 years, and it was good to actually have a break away from council. So at the beginning of last year, I was enjoying the break. We're now a year and a half after that. So one benefit of the council election being put back is you've got time to move on in your life. A year and a half is quite a long period of time. I've reassessed this. I've thought about it long and hard over the last couple of months since it was last delayed, and I'm now in a position that I'm ready to go back in, because if you're going to do it, you need to do it 110%. I wasn't ready to do that at the beginning of last year. A year and a half is a long time.
Do you have aspirations to be Mayor again?
That's a really interesting question. Probably too arrogant of me to say that I want to stand for council and be Mayor again. What I want to do is say, please elect me as one of the 10 councillors. Once that happens, then we'll look at the people that are there, we'll have some discussions, and if my fellow councillors, if I am elected, if my fellow councillors deem that I'm good enough to stand for Mayor again and be elected as Mayor, I have no problems with that. But the first and foremost, I've got to be elected to council. I can't be Mayor without being a councillor. So what I'm focusing on now is being elected to council.
You were highly opposed to the amalgamation of Wellington and the Dubbo councils. Why the change of heart to run again?
Well, look, not a change of heart. In 2016, when the amalgamation process was occurring, I certainly was against the amalgamation because I didn't think it was right for the Dubbo community or the Wellington community. That decision wasn't my decision. That decision was made by a state government. And in life, you've got to deal with what's in front of you. We've got an amalgamated council. We've got to make it work the best way we can. Do I love the idea that the council was amalgamated back in 2016? No, I was very vocal against that at the time. But we've got this. We've got to move forward with it. You can't choose everything that happens in life. You just got to deal with the cards that are dealt to you. Thanks. Sorry, Emily. Oh, sorry, Ryan.
Yeah. What sort of policies do you want to see advanced in the next term? What are your ideas to make life better for councillors?
I think really what you do, Ryan, one of the things that's interesting in council is that for me to predict what's going to happen in the next 3 years, this being a shortened term, would be both foolhardy, arrogant and ridiculous for me to say all the things that are going to happen in the next 3 years. What you do need on council is people that have got the right intentions for the community, people that have got intelligence, people that have got goodwill, because there will be 1,000 things that will pop up over the next 3 years. What I guarantee the people of Dubbo, if I'm elected, is I will use all of that experience, all of those skills that I've learned, all of my intelligence to make the best decision for Dubbo and the future of Dubbo. And specific policies around that, they will change as time goes on. But I can guarantee that I'll be using all my skills to deliver the best outcome for Dubbo.
You've
Thanks, John.
Ben
Emily?
Shields has come out and confirmed this morning that he is going to run. Any comment on that, and did that knowledge have any effect on or any impact on your decision to run?
I made the decision based on what I thought was best for the community. I've talked about this at length with my family. I've talked about it with friends. I welcome as many people to stand as possible. Every election I've ever stood in, I've said, the more candidates, the better. This is a democracy. Whoever stands, stands, and let the people choose who's best. If that's me, thank you. If it's not me, I'll move on with my life. But obviously I wouldn't put my hand up if I didn't think I could make a difference and hope I can get support of the voters, from the voters of Dubbo.
Well, my point of call was on Ben Shields running the same central ward as you. How do you feel going up against him?
I've got no idea who's running in any wards at the moment. I put my nomination in yesterday for the Central Ward. When I looked on the Electoral Commission website this morning, I saw no other people standing in Central Ward yet. So I don't know who's standing, but whoever stands, it's a democracy. So let the people choose who they want to represent them in this council going forward.
So what are the current challenges you see facing Dubbo that need to be addressed by the council?
One of the things that I see is that we've got a community that doesn't have a lot of trust or faith in council. And that's not a reflection on council staff, that's a reflection on what we've seen over the last few years. The morale of staff, without a doubt, is probably at an all-time low. And again, I point back to my experience when we did have community needs survey. My last community needs survey, when I was mayor, the group of councillors were given a 70% approval rating. The most recent one we've had of that had a 26% approval rating. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to get the community to trust the group of councillors, to trust the leadership of council, and we've got to get staff performing at their best. You can't perform at your best when you don't have confidence in the leadership of council. So my job really will be to make sure the community trusts what's there with council, to make sure we've got strong leadership, make sure we've got good experience, good integrity, and the staff of council can make a huge difference to this community, but they've got to have trust in their leadership as well. So they're the real challenges at the moment, Ryan, going forward. Okay, thank you for coming along. I really appreciate this, and I'm sure I'll be talking to many of you over the next 36 days I think we've got left of the campaign, and we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, thank you.